Like Keith Higgins got sent off, Andy Moore, there was questions with him the last day, his form. Kevin McLaughlin was taken off. They left Colin Boyle on the bench. Of course, the big question is Aidan O'Shea. And all of these things, I suppose, is uncharted territory for Mayo. They're a big team. They're an experienced team. I would expect them to win today. But certainly, there has never been more questions over the team than there is today. And it's an opportunity for Derry to take advantage of. But this is a seasoned Mayo team, and I would expect them to come out on top.
Kieran, that's the big news, I suppose, this afternoon as we arrive, is that Aidan O'Shea will start. The question before, and if he started, would he start in midfield? Would he start in full forward? In fact, he's gone in at number 11. What do you make?
He's gone in at number 11. It's hard to know where he played. Donald Vaughan has gone in the middle of the park for Seamus O'Shea as well, and Dermot O'Connor doesn't look like he's going to play. Both of them struggled in the Galway game. The thing about Aidan O'Shea is, I suppose, we know he's not fit. He struggled in a club game briefly a couple of weeks ago, and he has a groin injury, and a groin injury very difficult to shake. So it's going to be interesting to see whether, number one, there's 70 minutes in it and what they can get out of him. For me, I would stick him in on the edge of the square, because I think that the attention that he demands in there might just free up the others. Mayo have been very reliant on Cillian O'Connor and probably Kevin McLaughlin to a lesser degree to get their scores, and Andy Moran. But I think if he's in there, he'll draw attention from the Derry defenders, and it might free up a few of the forwards. It's going to be very interesting. Stephen Rochford has obviously made a couple of changes. He's made some harsh calls. Lads weren't performing. As he said, he dropped Colin Boyle the last day. So listen, Mayo are at their most vulnerable here, in my opinion, today. First round qualifiers, they struggled here against Fermanagh last year. They're coming in again with a bit of doubt hanging over them. I'm personally not seeing anything new from them. I'm not seeing them progressing in any shape or form. I think there's still question marks over large facets of their play. But I still think they will have enough today. The conditions, the pitch is in great condition. We should get, generally, I think we'll get an open enough game of football. I think Derry will come to play football, I would have thought today. But I still think Mayo will have too much.
Desi, to a large extent, I suppose it's a free kick for Derry, isn't it? I mean, they on the wrong side of a hiding by Tyrone, they get past Waterford. Nobody expects too much from them here today against last year's beaten All-Ireland finalists, so it's almost like a free pass. Go out and give it a go. And
they have some very good footballers as well. Kieran McFall, Chrissy McCaig, Brendan Rodgers. There's like really quality in their team. But I suppose the first round game against Tyrone was very poor. They went out in the first 20 minutes to concede an awful lot of frees. And I think they're going to learn from that, because Maurice Deegan is the referee. He was the referee that refereed against Tyrone. And in the first 25 minutes, I think Sean Cavan had 4 or 5 points, all got from silly, needless fouling by Derry. And if that area of the game is improved, because after that I watched them against Waterford, and they play a lovely style of football, good counter-attack play, great finishing. So Derry are a team with potential, but it's which Derry team turn up on the day. Their consistency hasn't been there. And with a team of the Mayo's experience, you would expect them to find it difficult, because they will ask the questions. But at the same time, if Derry go out and play the style of football that they can for 70 minutes, they'll have a good shout today.
And we're going to have a look at some of the positive aspects of Derry's play in a few minutes. But of course, it's a crucial game for both managers. Let's hear from them. They're with John Kenny.
Well, Stephen, I suppose the big news emanating from the dressing room is that Aidan O'Shea is starting. Can you confirm?
Yeah, Aidan will be in for the throw-in.
And who's he replacing?
He's going to replace Seamus O'Connor.
Okay, is that one of 2 changes you're making now later on, is it?
Seamus O'Shea will be also replaced by Donald Vaughan.
Okay. So what are you kind of a game you expecting from Derry today? And the players might know them because they met them in the league semi-final about 2 years ago. So what kind of a game are you expecting today?
Yeah, I'm expecting quite a physical game, quite attritional. Derry, from what we've seen against their games in the league and what they played against Tyrone and Waterford a number of weeks ago, pretty defensive, look to hit you on the counter-attack. But we've had some experience with that with Cavan and Tyrone and also Donegal in the league. So, you know, it's not something that we'll be we're overly focusing on, but certainly a very physical and intensive game.
Sure. They like to score points from distance as well. Obviously, be working on that as well, haven't you?
Yeah, there's a tricky breeze out there now today. It's blowing right into the stand, so you know, not standing too far off. Your men will be critical today, but look, really looking forward to it. Difficult route through the qualifiers, but at the same time, great to get the show back on the road.
Sure. And how has your squad responded to that loss to Galway in the Connacht Championship?
Yeah, the mood has been quite positive. Obviously, you know, we had this experience last year, so it's not something that's brand new to the group. But we understand that it can be a difficult road. But just looking at one game at a time, and looking forward to 5 o'clock and getting the game on.
Well, I mean, I expect what you would expect from a top team. Obviously, naturally aggressive, very strong runners from their defence in particular. They still like to play a flat 2 and pop that ball in 9 times out of 10 till O'Connor and Moran, and that has been paying good dividends to them. And it's a challenge for us, but we like to think we will exercise some challenge for them as well. So, you know, we are where we are. We're up for the game. I think the qualifiers, by their nature, some people throw the shackles off, and I think that's what we've seen. They've been very successful, obviously, last year. Arguably, we were quite successful, so we're here to compete.
Wind may play its part today. It's a bit breezy out there, so the elements may play its part.
Aye, well, I mean, I think it probably will, certainly in terms of long-range kicks and the ability to kick those points. Most teams now actually don't really care. I think they still endeavour to kick the ball as much as they can, despite the elements. I think whenever you come down here, and in most cases as well, you expect that breeze, game of two halves, to use an old cliche, but we certainly won't be changing our tactics, and the objective, I'm sure, of both teams will be get it into the inside line as quickly as possible.
Sure. Any late changes then on your team?
No. The likelihood is, of course, it's 21-man game, so down the stretch, if we're in the game, we'd like to think we have people that can go in and win the game.
Well, Mayo and Derry have only met once before in the championship. The year was 2007, and for the home side, the scores were raining down at Celtic Park.
In Clonus, and I've seen the major shock. It's going to take a Herculean shock for Derry to overturn Mayo in their home ground after a disappointing game against Galway. But I'm hoping for a good open game of football, and maybe something mirrors last week as well.
OK, Benny, we'll be hearing from Benny in a moment. Let's check on the two teams, and Mayo first. Goalkeeper David Clarke was unbeaten in the Connacht Championship, further underlining his all-star status. Keith Higgins' replacement in the full back line is Brendan Harrison, with Ger Cafferty today starting his 30th championship match, having been sidelined last year through injury. Mayo's attacking launchpad at half-back features Footballer of the Year Lee Keegan, pass fit to play after an injury worry, with the recalled Colm Boyle on his right. At centre field, there's a change today, as you've been hearing, and Donny Vaughan is now in the middle of the park alongside Tom Parsons. Into the half-forward line, you've heard mention that Aidan O'Shea is on the 40. Newcomer Fergal Boland is again included at wing forward, with Stephen Cohen selected to play on the opposite flank. And inevitably, much of the focus in the inside line will be on Mayo's main scoring outlet, Cillian O'Connor. So far, he's managed 18 goals and 196 points in 36 matches. Some going. And that's the test that Derry are up against this afternoon, a tough task facing them. Once again, they have teenager Ben McKinless between the posts. His full back line, led by number 3 Brendan Rodgers, has enabled him to keep that Derry goal intact after championship matches now against Tyrone and Waterford. In the half-back line, the ever-dependable Chrissy McCaig holds sway, while Kieran McFall has become a constant scoring threat. Conor McAtamney plays centre field alongside Danny Heverin, rated one of the top footballers in Derry last season. At half-forward, Niall Loughlin, in his 3rd championship season, continues to impress. He has Ryan Bell in his 10th championship match, sharing today's workload. And in the full-forward line, Derry will hope to see Danny Talon maintain his current good form. And I've just heard in the last couple of seconds that Emmett McGuckin will not start, and Michael McAvoy is given a late call-up, although he will not play at full forward. Well, having come so near to winning the Sam Maguire in the recent past, yet left unfulfilled, Mayo fans must be a little anxious about what's in store over the next 70 minutes.
Derry against Mayo, but there's another reason why you're here as well.
Great GA day this morning in Claremorris, and they were renaming the pitch the Alan Feely pitch. He was the senior team captain. He died during a training session, donated his organs, and the fellow who got his lungs, his parents were telling me today, the fellow who got his lungs won the gold medal at the World Transplant Games and came back home and presented it to them. So a beautiful, bittersweet day, you know, and a really fantastic occasion.
Sure. Tell us about today's game. Obviously, we've heard about the changes that Mayo have made with O'Shea coming in and also Donald Vaughan. What do you think?
I think Mayo were in a bad place. I was watching them doing the warm-up, and it was very, very lacklustre. You know, I think that their Sam Maguire dream is over now, and I think they feel that. And you know, it must
Seriously?
be absolutely gutting for them, because they've given us more entertainment than any team. The last 10 years they've been the greatest, most entertaining team in Irish sports. It's an awful pity, but it's very difficult for them. It must be very demotivating.
That's a strong thing to say, David.
They're in a vulnerable place,
Yeah.
you know.
David?
You know what, if it was 12 months ago I said they were in a vulnerable place, but I actually think they're in a good place. I think they have an opportunity now to build on their panel. Like, the experience that they have out today is phenomenal. If you look at it, Ben McAnelis, the Derry goalkeeper, was 3 years of age when David Clark played with me in 2001. Like, they have massive, and there's no one at the end of the line. But I actually think this is a chance for Mayo to build, especially on their panel. The likes of Conor Loftus, Evan Regan, the younger players that need to be brought in towards the end, because you need a panel. And this is the ideal way for Mayo to build a panel. Aidan O'Shea is back starting centre forward. We get a full game out of him. I think Mayo will definitely score 2 or 3 goals today, because they are going to attack. I think this game is Joe, there's no end to the dream here.
You're going
to be entertained for another while.
Sure, David, you mentioned during the week that Derry are perhaps
No, I don't mean today. I'm saying just in general.
In
It
general,
must be an
well,
awful...
today is the start of a new step for them.
Yeah, just want to talk about Derry. Derry, you talked that during the week being unpredictable. Obviously, they lost to Tyrone and the scratchy win maybe over Waterford. What do you see from them today?
You know what? Derry don't fear Mayo. They'd fear a Galway team today. They don't fear Mayo. They bet Mayo in 2015 in National League quarter-final or semi-final. The likes of the Monaghan's, the Cavans, the Durries will always give Mayo a game. As we've seen in the National League this year, they don't like block defence. I think if Derry pull a lot of men back, they will frustrate Mayo.
Joe, what do you
We're in a
think?
very different place than we were in 2015, unfortunately. You
Yeah,
know, I agree that
yeah.
Mayo were vulnerable, but I mean, Derry, if they do an aerial bombardment to the edge of the square, then we could be in business, because I think Jerry Cafferty's very vulnerable under the high ball. Look at the way Kerry went after him in 2014, Dublin in the All-Ireland final in 2013. But I'm not sure that Derry have been able to work on anything like that for long enough, and a win over Waterford is not necessarily...
No, but you know what? They're on heightened to nothing here. They'll throw everything at them, but I think that the big
That's what I
thing
would
for
like to
Mayo...
see, a bit of spirit from Derry.
I think you're going to see a game, but I think Mayo, the harder run that Mayo get in this qualifier, including today and Monday's draw, will be better for Mayo. They don't want any cakewalk.
But before we hand back to Joe, I presume both of you are predicting a Mayo win.
I don't know about Joe.
I just can't bring myself to predict a Mayo win, but I can see the logic of it.
Let's be realistic. So logically, Mayo. David?
Yeah.
The wind is blowing right into where the teams come out on the field. So right to left from his point of view as he kicks this one for 45 metres out, looking for the perfect start, and he has made the perfect start. 5 metres out, Berry's got a goal and 11 points in his previous championship matches. This to tie it up here in Castlebar. He's driven it away to the left-hand side. He's put the ball wide. It's a bad miss on that Mayo defence. Back out to McCaig again, only once ever scored in the championship. Danny Heveron going into a cul-de-sac, pursued, he gets by, trying to make an angle for somebody, gets caught in the middle, and like he's caught in a web, finally loses it, threw the ball down because he knew he was going to get caught.
And it's a great start by Derry.
And Niall Loughlin gets that equalising point. Durkin, back here to Lee Keegan, injured in a club game, got a dead leg. It's a great ball in by McLaughlin, beautifully done to Andy Moore, and fine score.
What a ball by Kevin McLaughlin into Andy Moore, who's making some brilliant runs in the inside forward line. He's been spotted twice and 2 scores have come off it already. But a great open, expansive game of football so far.
And that's that point. From the kick out, it's Mayo won it again. It was a touchdown by Aidan O'Shea to a colleague, and Parsons now tries to set it up for Andy Moran again. Back in here it comes. Donald Vaughan. Thought about maybe having a go himself, instead gives it back to McLaughlin, and he misses it badly. Second wide, a man turned Brendan Harrison. Back to Kieran McFall. Struck the post for his first attempt in the early minutes. Back to Niall Loughlin, once again it comes from Greenlock. Does well. Shrugs aside the attention of the first challenge. This one is hanging in the air. Close, beautifully done. Super point.
Tremendous point.
Acute enough angle, confronting Kevin McLaughlin. 2 points apiece. Enterprising start by both teams. McLaughlin, who had that role as a sweeper, as you say, Benny, in last season, the year before, I think, as well, but very much conventional half forward at this stage, and he drags that one badly. That's the second one. He's touched that one down to Benny Heron, and Benny sets off once again through the heart of this Mayo defence. Nobody able to get a tackle on him. Great shot by Benny Heron and over the bar.
That's a fantastic score by Benny Hearn. And one thing that the Mayo defence is doing is they're backing off their runners. We're watching Enda Lynn, Chrissy McKaig, and there Benny Hearn running at the defences, and the Mayo defenders are not meeting them.
Which is going to be a bit of a worry. Enda Lynn knocking it back to Niall Keenan. Niall just 20 years of age, back towards his captain once again. Lynn can crack it over from here, but he decides to work it into Ryan Bell instead, and Bell over his shoulder and over the bar. This is a very good start by Derry. They may have been a little nervous early on, but they've come right into the game, lead by 2.
Yeah, well, the bookies' odds are a great rule, Ger, when it's used appropriately, and it was used appropriately there by Morris Deacon, there's no doubt about it.
Been a long while since Cillian O'Connor got his one and only pointed free, but he's got another one here. And it's a 1-point game. Points already for him, 1 from a free, 1 from play, and now he's got his third. 3 from 3 shots, and Derry... Well, we were questioning when we got here whether or not Lee would be able to start, because there were all kinds of concerns about the level of fitness, because he had an injury, and as somebody said to me, Lee Keegan would play no matter what. It's Cillian O'Connor is going to take this. 2 from 2 from frees so far. So from the 20-metre line, no difficulty. Another one for him.
What's worrying possibly from a Mayo perspective is they've only probably scored 1 point from play.
That's it. Mayo behind by 1. Enda Lynn to try and inflict some further damage on that defence. It's McWilliams, it's Carlos McWilliams, well saved. It comes off the post, having come off the goalkeeper, and it's gone for a 45. And he very nearly got his first ever championship goal, Carlos McWilliams.
Well, here we go. It's a great ball in, and again, they open up defence. And Niall Loughlin shoots, great save, hits his knee, then hits the post, then hits somebody else's knee and goes wide. So we're having great goal mouth action here, but still no goals. 2 great saves by the keeper and 2 fortuitous posts and 1 off the knee.
Benny, when you start thinking about it, you add up the number of goal chances that Derry have had so far. I think they've had 3.
Yeah, it's some.
I think he's pumped up for this game, anxious to show just what he can do and what he can contribute. Kevin McLaughlin beautifully into Cillian O'Connor. O'Connor against the fullback. Rogers lays it off here. Lee Keegan, and that one's gone over the bar.
And there's the impact of Lee Keegan when he's running straight at defences, even from a defensive point of view. Great ball in by Kevin McLaughlin to Cillian O'Connor, and there he is, rampaging forward, and a great score by Lee Keegan. And we're all level.
Level for the 3rd time. Keegan playing in his 26th championship match this afternoon. It's energised the crowd again. That ball didn't travel the necessary 13 metres, because if you go from the 13 metres
counter, with both teams able to run at will at each other's defences, so it's great for us as the neutral.
Ryan Bell from that short free kick plants it beautifully over, his 2nd free, and they both been from considerably distance out from goal. 6-5 Derry lead.
Yeah, and I think they're full worth for their lead at this stage. They played probably the most expansive type of football. Mayo a wee bit more.
Pointed 3. Doesn't make too many mistakes. They're level again. Good start here. Centre half back Lee Keegan, which is really not good enough, but if they get away with a victory here, they'll be happy enough, I suppose. But they've a lot of work to do. Up into the air, and that's hanging away to the right-hand side. That one's gone wide, and that's a 5th wide. Still a point in arrears.
Yes, Damien Barton definitely much more happier than Stephen Rochford at this stage.
The last time he played here in the 2014 National League. And this one calmly put over. So it's a 5th wide, and the teams are level now for the 5th time. That should be just about it for the opening 35 plus minutes. Ben McKinless just belting it down here towards Ryan Bell, the obvious target, and Bell is good in the air. Has a player on his shoulder, Enda Lynn. There might be one more score before the break. This is promising. Lynn firing it in is the wrong move. Well, maybe it won't, because Carlos McWilliams is after it, and he's put the ball wide. But there, Danny Heverin have this to edge. Derry in front on the call of half-time. Well hit. Referee blows the half-time whistle. Derry will be very pleased with their afternoon's work so far, but it's only half done. And Stephen Rotsford now and his management team have to get in there, have to talk to their team, remind them of what's in store here. Derry lead Mayo. Mayo facing elimination from the championship unless they can buck up in the second 35 minutes at the break.
In this one,
Because I suppose if you're a Mayo supporter, is the glass half full, is the glass half empty? They are creating the chances, but as we're going to see now, they're not making the most of it.
Yeah, they're creating plenty of chances in this game, and they'll be disappointed that they're not more ruthless. And we're looking at these seasoned campaigners missing shot. There was Kevin McLaughlin. You'd expect Kevin in front of goal to get it. Patrick Durkin, who's an excellent player, created an opportunity. Again, an extremely bad wide. I suppose maybe a problem that Mayo have, left-footed free taker. I suppose Kevin's not the most natural at it. And then we see, this is Chris Barrett, finds himself in a great position, and that's a terrible shot from senior inter-county player. Falls to Killian O'Connor, and it's more of the same. And these are opportunities that we just expect Mayo, as an seasoned, experienced team, to be finishing off. Andy again creates the opportunity. Now the goalie did extremely well here, but certainly it was an opportunity for a goal, and another miss there by Killian O'Connor. So all of these opportunities were created by Mayo, which gives you an idea that they're in the ascendancy. But what's happening is the confidence is growing in Derry as the game is going on, and quite the opposite is happening in Mayo.
the other thing it points is the Mayo forward line's just not good enough. They're not at the required level. It's been something that's been spoken about, over the last few years, that they're just not ruthless in front of goal. They don't take those opportunities.
And yet we talked before this game that if Derry had the confidence to go for it, they could reap the dividends, and they are scoring some fine points.
They are, and they're getting more oxygen all the time, and a lot of their forwards, Niall Loughlin has been excellent, Enda Lynn, and this is off a kick out, a great score by Benny Heron. And I think they have to be a little bit braver. Mayo are really trying to squeeze them on the kickouts. Take a few risks, go longer, because if they win the breaks opportunities, again, you can see the sweeper getting sucked in there. He doesn't know where to go, and a great score off the outside of the boot. Again, ball here, Enda Lynn, who's done a lot of damage down this left-hand flank. Again, you look, Mayo defence, bit all over the place. There's an overlap. It's all too easy. Again, the sweeper is backing off. There's an option inside, and it comes back, score for Ryan Bell. So, that's where Derry have to build on. They have to build their confidence, and it's about them having the self-belief in the second half that their forwards can go at Mayo and cause them trouble.
So that's Damien Barton's instructions at half-time then, Desi. Run at the Mayo defence. You will get something out of them.
Yeah, the other thing is being disciplined, though. They have to stop giving frees.
Yeah.
They have to, like any juvenile match, you're going to force them to take their scores. Don't hand them the scores, and I think that's where they have to. Killian O'Connor will punish them from place balls. They have to be more disciplined defensively.
I think as well the mindset in the qualifiers is extremely difficult. Mayo came out very flat. They came out of a defeat against Galway expecting to win the Connacht. They didn't. Now they're playing a Derry team that on paper they're expected to win, and all of a sudden things are not going well for them, and quite the opposite's happening. Derry went down and bet Waterford last. They're confident side. They scored 117 the last match, and then today they're going, do you know what, lads, we're in a game, we have a massive opportunity here, and Damien Barton's going to send out his troops in the second half. They have nothing to lose, and it's very much in their hands as well.
Okay, 8 points to 7. Derry leading in McHale Park, perhaps surprising.
Enda Lynn involved. Final shot is by Ryan Bell, with an excellent first half with his shooting, and he's done really well at the start of the second. A third for Ryan Bell, and the path of Lee Keegan got one of Mayo's points from play in the first half, and they only had 2 of those. Again, the crowd raising the decibel level somewhat into Andy Moran, and Andy Moran puts it over the bar.
That's
Nicely set up.
Third score.
Bundle the Mayo forward over. Downwell McLaughlin, free kick.
I really do not understand the short kick out in that dynamic. When after giving away a score, what is wrong with hitting it down to your midfield or to Ryan Bell, who's winning everything against a smaller marker? Instead, go short and actually kicked it straight to a Mayo man. So Ben and would need
the outside shots. Meanwhile, it's Mayo and it's Colin Boyle. And it's Lee Keegan now, last year's Footballer of the Year, taking on Loughlin. They can't catch him, and he's fisted this one off the crossbar. Andy Moran back here as far as Stephen Cohen. Cohen with the right has put it wide. Missed opportunity.
He'll have to be picked up, or else he's going to cause untold damage.
6-pointed freeze already for Killian O'Connor. He's only missed 1, I think, and this one he's missed as well, so he's missed 2 out of 8 to Chrissy McCaig. McCaig is a very composed footballer, great hurler as well. back to his brother Carol, part of a great club in County Derry. Ulster Club champions, hurling and football, as that one has gone in, off the post and over the bar. Brilliantly done by Danny Heverin. Super point.
That's a fantastic score for Danny Heverin, and you can tell by the sound of the crowd here. There's not too many from Derry here, but we're getting to witness it on TV and here. It's a fantastic point, and one worthy to take the lead for Derry once again. And more questions being asked whether this is the end of this Mayo team.
Long way to go yet. That's a poor ball by Ryan Bell, who looks tired. Back out towards Aidan O'Shea. His team only a point behind. They look to try and make the next attack count. Paddy Durkin, beautifully into Andy Moran. Moran off the post. Back to Killian O'Connor. Seals a march on Rogers and puts the ball wide, I think, off the goalkeeper's outstretched left hand.
I think that's a fantastic save by Ben McInnes. They're living on their edge now, Derry, but a brilliant shot by Andy Moran hits the post, and Killian, here we go, and hits the post.
You were saying you've never seen the post hit as many times, Benny. You're seeing it here. Well, that was a super save, wasn't it?
Brilliant save. Brilliant left hand by Ben McInnes. He's had a strange day. He's made a few mistakes, but he's pulled off some brilliant stops as well. And
this one can go either way at this stage. We're nearly 15 minutes into the second half. O'Connor setting up to kick this one. Curling it beautifully, measuring it perfectly. He's got his 7th of the day. May have missed 2, but he's got 7, and
they are failing to take the advantage and the momentum of the game and to go that 1 point in front. And this could be Derry going ahead again.
Should be. 5 points so far for Niall Loughlin. From 20 metres out, he's not going to miss, and doesn't. They're a point behind. They're in some difficulty because we've played 21 minutes. In over the head of Andy Moran, into Killian O'Connor, back towards Andy Moran. This could be it. Stopped by the goalkeeper again. Ben McInnes again denies Killian O'Connor and Mayo so many goal opportunities. And in the second half, they just can't beat the goalkeeper, who's made 2 really, really top-class saves.
Fantastic reflexes by
the 28-year-old in his 27th championship match to put a couple of points between the teams. It's the Derry.
You feel that this must go over, Ger. They've no momentum going forward at all at the minute, Mayo. And if they don't get a score soon, then Derry will soak up the clock as well, and just keep frustrating and tackling and harrying like they're doing at the minute. So you feel this is a must.
It's their only route to scores today, Benny. They've got Lee Keegan with 1 point. That's the breeze that the element of the breeze is facing. So it's left to right as he's kicking it. Andy Moran got 2 from play. The rest have all been from frees. He needs this one. Mayo need it. And this one's gone wide. It's beginning to be an agonising experience for all Mayo fans. They've suffered so much down the years, All-Ireland losses, year after year, every time they got there. They haven't won the All-Ireland since 1951, all of 66 years. And right now, they're in the first round of the qualifier. They're taking off Brendan Harrison, I've seen on the far side. I'm just looking to see who they have replaced him with. But they have made another change. That ball has gone in towards Colin Boyle. And Boyle, David Drake, number 19, has come on. Can he make a difference? Here's Kevin McLaughlin, hoping to make a very definite difference. That kicks, that's way up into the air. That's going nowhere near the